The Mariety Show presents.
We work. This is how we man down. This is how we work. This is how we work.
You're just
nice.
giving out your location.
So did the customers get mad at you in particular? Like, hey,
there's a few of them.
You gotta stop moving the Tyson chicken nuggets, man. They go on aisle 12.
Yeah, no, they get like not in my store. And there's a few of those Jimmy Buffett ones around here, so it's not quite that simple.
To be fair, it is a little bit of an inconvenience. Like I had the Walmart
absolutely.
around
How do you
me
think we
switch
feel?
up
We don't
stuff.
know where it is either.
I mean, change up stuff. Yeah, I've had the Walmart over here, and people talk over here. They're the kind of people that like get in line and start a conversation with you. Where I used to live, no one did that. We all kept to ourselves. So it's funny, you hear people, they're like, yeah, they've been goddamn remodeling for like 2 weeks already. I can't find out where the bread is or where this is, but yeah, I couldn't imagine if that's constant. Yeah, that would kind of suck. And then people definitely get mad at you for it not even being your fault.
I was about to say, it's annoying, but I'm not going to yell at you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're not going to get the brunt of it because, like, customer service, like, the people who work the registers and stuff, those guys get the people. Like, they get the wrath. We kind of just get, like, the frustration of people who want something specific that don't get it, that brand or something, or maybe they're annoyed something moved, or maybe people are just having a bad day and they kind of just snap at you. I don't let it affect me, sort of like how Blaze is. I just kind of let it roll off my back. I have my job is to get this truck out and to help you guys find your stuff and to, give you guys a good experience while you're at the store. I'm going to do that, and that's what I'm going to focus on. And if you get mad at me for something I don't have control over, I'm not going to let it ruin my day.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah, it's the only time something's really ruined my day, it's like, I don't care if people are mean to me, whatever, but when someone raises their voice at me, I don't know what it is, but that's hard for me to like. I don't care if you're small or big or whatever, I just hate when people raise their voice at me and they're angry at me, because some people are angry and they just sound like a little pissy or whatever. I'm like, okay, whatever. And they like still even say like stuff they probably shouldn't say, when you're trying to conduct business.
Yeah.
But it's when people actually start raising their voice, I just get like, I don't know what to do, and I start like getting, that's only happened once. I like had to go, and after I was done with that customer, I had to go in the back and I kind of cried. And I wasn't like, I was just upset because I was like, I don't know, people don't yell at me because I don't like when people yell at me. I don't know. So I try not to do stuff where people yell at me. I'm like, what the fuck? But yeah, I would fucking
I try not to get yelled at.
I don't know. I just couldn't
yelled
imagine.
At for no reason.
Yeah, I couldn't imagine that. One of my fucking old supervisors was like yelling at me, and I couldn't even talk to her for like 30 minutes because I was having my first panic attack in front of her.
Yeah.
And like I was literally new to the job, and she came from like the hardest team in that division, and she was became a new supervisor on another team, so she was bringing the hardness from like that team. And I'm like, it was like a job that like it takes a second to pick up, and we're like not even a month or so in, and it's like she's so mad. I'm like, I didn't even like, I don't know. I don't even know how to explain it. It was closing loans. I think I missed like something, and something wasn't done on time. So I had to call a customer and say, we have to move your closing on your home, which is a big deal. But it's like, I never messed up before that. So fuck you. I wanted to say that, but yeah, she brought me in a room and started yelling at me, and I didn't know what to do. I'm like, what the hell? It's just when people raise their voice at me, I get a bit, I just hate it.
That's what I feel like people in blue collar jobs tend to do is they get yelled at, they don't care. They can, sometimes my experience, people snap back pretty good. I don't know how it is with you, but myself, when I know, like, I feel like I'm someone who's really good at my job. And when I feel like I know what I'm doing and how I need to get my stuff done, and I feel like you're unnecessarily getting in my way, I feel like I kind of get that way too, where I might snap back a little bit harder, where in most jobs they would see that as bad.
Mm-hmm. That makes sense.
I will say I agree with Mariah. I think that there's there's a really big difference between just like a customer or like a member of the general public getting like frustrated with you and dealing with that versus like a coworker or your boss.
I wasn't talking about
hostile with
customers
you.
by any means.
Oh yeah.
I
Well,
was gonna say more like my
yeah.
people I work with, or specifically for.
Well, I'll say like I tend to kind of shut down too if it's like my boss or like someone that like I like look up to getting like pissy with me or kind of hostile with me. Like I tend to shut down too and take that pretty hard. But like I don't mind like being like out on the streets and getting called like slurs. I used to work as like a corrections officer as a I worked at a supermax prison for about like a year as a little correctional officer, and like so like you've seen it all there, and like you have people yelling at you all the time, but like it's very different for like a prisoner, like a like a serial killer, to be like in your face yelling at you and screaming at you and like, I'm gonna kill you next. And then you're like, yeah, whatever. And then like by the time like your shift ends, like the lieutenant calls you into the other room and is like, hey, I saw you mess up on this, and like you really gotta you pay more attention when you're doing this, because whenever you make accidents and mistakes like this, it's a really big deal. And
if you don't mind me asking, I'm a little curious because I have a similar thing myself. Like, how do you end up ending up where you are now from working as a corrections officer? Because like personally myself, I ended up doing what I'm doing, and it's the opposite of everything in my life that's led up to it. I'll kind of clarify, but I was wondering, you mentioned the way you were talking about it kind of brought that similar feeling. Like, how do you end up there after doing that
Yeah, well, I think that a lot of young people now have this idea that you have to have your life like all figured out by the time that you're very, very, very young.
Yeah, I have that idea. I feel like I'm like far behind my peers, where I'm probably like even maybe ahead of other people just based on where I went to school and grew up at. But continue, sorry. I'm just throwing in my
no, you're good. And like in some senses, like I understand that and I get that too, but you have to kind of remember that life isn't necessarily a race. At the end of the day, you have responsibilities as an adult to like maintain yourself and be like an upstanding citizen, and by the time you have a family, you have to maintain and provide for your family as well. And if you're doing that and you're meeting those responsibilities, you're maintained and healthy and happy, and your family's healthy and maintained and happy, then there's nothing else really matters. It doesn't matter if you have a college degree. It doesn't matter what you do for a living, as long as you and your family are happy and you're not like a leech. You're not like a leech of stuff that you don't need. So go ahead.
No, sorry. I was saying, like, because that kind of resonates hard. So I'm not originally from here. I grew up north, but I moved here to go to school. I got my degree here. I have my degree in air traffic control, but about a month before I graduated, I suffered my first seizure, and then after that, I kept having them, and it hasn't stopped. And since in the same vein that you being a mailman, you're probably a federal employee, it's the same way with air traffic controllers, where an air traffic controller as a federal employee, you have to be accepted by the government and blah blah blah. And one of the requirements is a medical test. I have to pass a standard, and my epilepsy actually disqualifies me from doing it. So about a month before I graduated, my career got wiped out, and I had no backup. I kind of put all my eggs in the basket of, I'm going to be controlling planes for the rest of my life. I actually went into college as a pilot, but switched to air traffic control. And all of 4 years of that, and I had trained even before coming to college. As in high school, my mom for my birthday bought me flight lessons. So I had been kind of preparing for this the whole time, and then it got taken away from me about a month, a month. I still have my degree. I still have all of that, but I still work at a grocery store. And it's kind of that same thing as like, you say, I used to just focus on getting that degree and getting that job and not having that other part of it where you have the family, and getting you're getting your need filled through that. I had to shift kind of halfway, almost, full pivot focus from career. And that's what I got to try to start building now, almost out of nothing,
Do you love what you're doing now, or do you think you still want to change?
Oh, God, dude. I'm going to be straight up. I do what I do mostly because of the money. And I don't want that to come off the wrong way because...
No, it's all right. It's all right.
No, I know. I know because
I get that.
I find good things in what I do. I understand that working as a mailman and working as a grocery store worker is something that's vital to society, and I can find meaning in that. It feels good to me that people don't, they can come to where I work and get a good experience and buy what they need and to feed their families.
And I'm not looking around
during
for the green beans. Where the fuck are the green beans?
Yeah, right. You get something out of that. But my whole life, I envision myself flying planes or sitting in the tower, looking, doing all that. I trained for that my whole life. And while what I can find some meaning out of what I do, I don't get what most people, or at least some people get, where they find fulfillment in their job and in their life with their family. And I kind of just do what I do to get through it,
Well, I don't mean to make this into just a suggestion. I mean, I don't know if you want this side of it, but there's like, if you still want to deal with planes, I mean, I'm sure they're a big part of your life for some reason, whether it just being because you wanted to be a pilot, maybe your grandpa was a pilot, I don't know, and then, about your situation, but you can always be, some kind of like aircraft engineer or like a repairman or something like that.
Yeah, I've actually, the school I went to is specifically a college made for aviation. I'll drop the name so you guys can look later, but it's essentially called like the Harvard of the skies. I went there specifically for the aviation thing, and like I'd have to go back to get those other things, which is, it's tough because my epilepsy doesn't allow me to work in certain conditions. Like as a maintenance person, I can't work in the heat outside, or with that kind of thing. It's gonna, while I have it under control with my medication, years later now, it's still something I have to watch for. I can't, working in the grocery store is nice because I'm in a controlled, temperature environment, and there's always people around me in case something happens, and it's really dynamic where there are things that I absolutely could do with this. With the knowledge that I have, that the circumstances don't allow me to. I can't work outside. I can't work in that loud of an environment. I can work in stressful environments, but it's the legality of it. There are times where if I have an event, I can't drive for 6 months.
Oh my God!
Like every time I have a seizure or like a premonition to a seizure, I'm basically required to report it to the state of Florida. And they have the right to revoke my license for 6 months until I'm 6 months seizure free and approved by my doctor. So it's a really complex thing where you have to walk a line, and that line can make it really hard for at least for me in my really specific circumstance. I can't take the as much opportunity of the advantages that are there.
Oh, sorry. You've been trying to say
no,
something for a while,
good.
Blaze.
Say
I keep butting
No,
go, Blaze.
No, you're okay. Oh, I know. Yeah, screw you, host of the show.
God
but,
damn it.
I don't want to pivot too much. But how old are you, Ian?
I'm 27.
Okay, so it can seem like a lot, like you've been dedicating your whole life to one thing and you had your sights set on this one thing and that was going to be your whole future. And there are a lot of people that live like that. They know from a very young age what they want to do and they work and work and work and work until they're able to do that, and then they get that and they prosper in that and then they die. But there's also all sorts of other people. It's corny and cheesy advice, but if you're 27 now, unless you see yourself dying at like 54 years old, you haven't even lived half of your life yet. And a substantial portion of the time that you were alive was like you were pissing yourself and shitting in diapers and learning your ABCs and colors and everything else. Like, you have not even lived like the majority of like whatever influences that you've had your entire life. Those influences are going to change as you get older. Like, it may feel like a big bump in the road or like you've hit a wall right now, but unless you plan to just sit there at that wall doing nothing, working in a grocery store for like 40 years, if you're content with that and you're happy with that and that's not a wall and that's your path forward, then great. But I mean, otherwise, like, the next air traffic control or the next thing will come along. You just have to seek it out and what it is. But you don't have any obligation to anyone to do any one particular thing as long as you're happy.
No, you're absolutely right, man. And that's something that I've has with this whole situation has come with a hard lesson where, I've understood, I've adapted to it in the sense of, where I want my priorities to lie now. But the hardest part, I feel like, to me on a daily basis, and obviously this is something that's just there, but having to go in and do something every day, but kind of being reminded of how close you were is probably the hardest part to get over. There's been a lot of time, spent, being okay with it, but at the same time, it's just kind of like that. It just kind of itches in the back of your head a little bit, and obviously things are going to change over time. Things are going to get better, and more opportunities are going to arise. But at this, it's a tough thing to kind of, it's almost like a trauma in a way. Not to compare the two, but it's just there. Just something to kind of.
I get it. When I was growing up, I wanted to go into the Air Force. Is what I wanted to do. Like, the whole time I was in high school, and then growing up and everything after that. And then there was something that came up like immediately after high school that I would have to wait a little bit after high school before I could go directly into the Air Force. But that was still the plan. But as I was out of school and living my life, that's whenever things between my wife and I started getting serious. And she did not want to be a military wife and made it pretty clear that I had the option to either stay with her or I could be in the military. But staying with her meant no Air Force. And at the end of the day, like, I chose to be with her. And so I could look at her and say, like, you undermined like my whole life and what I thought I was going to do and my whole career path. And you're saying, like, well, how did you go from being a corrections officer to a mailman? Like, I was just looking for something to make me money. I wasn't a corrections officer because I was passionate about it. I became a corrections officer because I just recently moved in with my now wife, girlfriend at the time, and the prison had like a $5,000 sign-on bonus because they were so understaffed. So
why does that sound like where I live too? I think a lot of prisons are usually understaffed, and then people stay there and meet their obligation and leave after the sign-on bonus.
That's exactly what I did. I just got my money and got out. But so I didn't do that because I was passionate about it or because I was looking for anything to do. It's just rather than being work-oriented at the time, I was more family-oriented, and that ended up working out for me. And that might not work out for you. You might not ever get to be a family oriented person, but you can find other things. There are other
Oh
people that
yeah.
are podcast oriented. They work 40 hours a week to come home, and like the light of their life is their hobbies and pursuing those,
Yeah.
but they have to work 40 hours a week just to meet that obligation so that they can fulfill their hobbies. You just have to find what your next air traffic control is. But I can relate to you, and I know that it sucks to have that pulled out from under you. So I wish you the best.
People are making
Yeah, you
career
too. Thanks,
changes
man.
people are making career changes at 40 and 50 years old anyway.
Yeah.
Definitely where I used to work, like I said, there's a lot of turnover, or it's, stay at home mom had to get a job because only because of living expenses going up, not even just have extra side money. It's like they started to do this to live, or someone thought they loved working at the hospital and they're like, this is just not what I want to do, so they changed jobs because so I mean, I have the same thought too. I was never, although I'm different in the fact that like I was never set on anything. I think now I'm set on my career because I've been in it and so far I like it. But like over a year ago, I still wasn't even too sure on IT. I'm like, okay, I'll get the certificate and stuff and I'll learn it, but I still don't even know if this will like fulfill me or anything. I can help people solve problems and I like that, but is it going to be, what I expect? And I'm probably just have a good job right now too. That's definitely part of it, but yeah, I mean, I'm not like you're much older than me. I'm 24, but I still have, I quit college after a year because I felt like, what's the point of me even being here? Because I don't know what I want to do with my life. So I was just working, stayed at the same job, and the only reason I left my last job was because I moved in with my boyfriend. And I'm like, well, that's my excuse to get out. And it's just, even then I felt like I was running out of time because I grew up in a place where everyone was going to college after high school, which is kind of the opposite of a lot of places, but like they did the thing at the graduation where it's like, stand up if you're going to be joining the military, and it's like one guy and then like everyone else was like, they're going to college and their parents are gonna pay for like $20 million for 10 years of medical school or whatever. So I was like, well, I felt like shit because everyone's, graduating, I feel like 2 years after getting whatever degree, and I'm here doing nothing. Again, I wasn't set on anything, and it's not like I really had any sort of dreams crushed, but it's just kind of finding your way, and I can't help you in the fact that like I'm not, you could maybe see if there's also any, I mean, like support groups. It sounds dumb when I say it out loud, but I mean, really, like other people that have experienced the same thing, like I was just diagnosed with, or something like that. How do I move? And just see like kind of what stuff they do. You probably have already done that, but I mean, there's definitely a
you
bunch
obviously
of time.
Look for some support.
Yeah, you have a lot of time though, I think, and I'm starting to realize that finally. I think I've been able to say it out loud better and feel confident, but I'm still not, my brain isn't 100% confident that I still have a lot more time. If that makes sense. Especially when I go like home for the holidays, and like I also feel like I'm running out of time because parents and grandparents are like, when are y'all get married or having kids? I'm like, that's what also makes me, I think, not 100% believe I have a lot of time left to do anything, because just be careful. I don't know if you're in a relationship or not, but people are going to be asking even after I feel like a month at sometimes. Oh my gosh, I don't even know. It's like just stop asking, please.
It's like I don't even know what I'm going to have for dinner.
Exactly. Like really. And I'm like, stop. But
no, I do have a significant other. Been together for about a year or so now. So I'm definitely starting to like, the shift that you've been talking about is definitely happening ever so slowly. I definitely feel like if I were able to find something a little more that gave me a little more, just purpose just from the job itself, I would probably feel a lot better about it than I just do now. If that makes any sense to you all.
Yeah,
But
no, that makes
Yeah.
sense. That makes sense. Yeah. But hopefully you can like find something, or even like if you get a chance to shadow someone, or someone with a job, you could like go look at for a day and see if like you would be able
oh yeah,
to thrive in the working conditions and stuff like that. That would be awesome. That'd be cool. Or maybe get a little a little pet guy, a
I do.
service animal. Oh, yeah, he has one.
Oh, not a
Okay, never mind.
service animal,
Oh,
but
never
I do have
mind.
a pet.
Or a
Sorry. No,
pet.
I thought you was like
Another.
a little pet. I thought you were saying just like get a pet and it'll help. I'm like, yeah, definitely. I
Just a
already have
random pet, like a chicken. No, just
just
kidding.
just go grab a dog off the street. Yeah.
But yeah. Did I? Fuck. Did I? I don't think I asked this. Would you guys recommend your current job to other people, or do you think it's more like a stepping stone to something
I would
else?
entirely say it's going to depend on what the person wants, and I'm sure that's that would be the same for everything. But I feel like, at least in my experience, a lot of people work this job either when they kind of feel like they don't have anything else, or they use it as a stepping stone.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like right now, since a lot of people feel like they need like, I would definitely say it takes two people to kind of like live right now, like for a household. So a
Oh,
lot of people will
yes.
pick up
Oh
something
my
like this
god.
for a part-time job just to make extra money.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll get a lot of people, like a lot of high schoolers who are making money or things like that for my job. I suggest it to people. It's like if they need consistent money and they need job security and they need things like that, I always tell them to come try something like this, because it's not the most glamorous thing. It's pretty thankless, but you're guaranteed you're guaranteed a job. People need to eat.
Oh yeah.
So there's a lot of job security. It's consistent hours. You always, the job is there if you need it.
I would
But
say
that's
that's a.
only when I really recommend it.
I would say it's still
Honestly.
We
a
need people like
recommendation.
you to put those Tyson Anytizers in the right place.
Hell yeah,
Hell
brother.
yeah.
If you get it wrong, God forbid.
I don't want to be pissed off the next time I go to the store. Okay, it better be there.
I
If you want to be
would
pissed off, go to
definitely.
Walmart.
Yeah, we hadn't really gotten to get into too many goofy stories. There was some
No,
stuff
not
I was
yet.
going to ask you with that.
I got some good
But
too.
yeah, I would. Yeah, I would definitely recommend my job to other people. It just kind of depends on what you're looking for in a career. I would say if you're like a very money focused person and you're like wanting to make like six figures in your 30s, then
Uh-huh.
probably not.
Yeah.
But if it's something that you can be just content with living a livable wage, then yeah, I mean it's very easy work for very good pay. And the benefits that you have working, like federally, like the health benefits and all of that are great. They have great retirement.
Yeah, they do.
But just the work itself, I mean, it's literally just exercising and talking to people for a living while you are providing a useful service. And
I feel like the downfall to your job. I mean, it's rel- relatively easy, I guess, when you've been there for a while. But it's also, I feel like yours would just be pretty hard in the fact, like, if you're not, because you're on the road on your own, so like no one's
yeah,
there to supervise you. So if you get the one guy that gets the job because he does a good interview and shit, but he's just fucking lazy, like you can't go in there
yeah,
expecting to be lazy like that. Like if you know you're not good at self-motivation or doing stuff when you don't have like a supervisor, not like there's a supervisor constantly up like Ian's ass or anything, but there's
No.
people there all the time.
Oh,
There's
yeah.
people there to see if you're doing something or not. I know, you know some customers definitely point out, oh, that guy not doing shit over there, and I'm looking for my green beans. I keep bringing up green beans.
Oh yeah,
but but
got green
yeah,
beans on the
That's what they
brain.
sell at the grocery store.
I feel like it's harder maybe later on, like at Blaze's job, to get, I guess, caught. I mean, I don't know how else to say it, just because, how, unless someone's really upset that their Amazon package didn't arrive the same day, like, they could be slacking off for maybe like a little longer. I don't know, actually, I could be wrong,
Yeah,
but
well, it's kind of both. You definitely have to be able to self motivate,
Oh yeah.
but it's kind of easy whenever there. I'm not too sure how I want to put it, but it's still easy to get caught because, for one, you have a scanner on you at all times that you're using to like deliver
Oh.
Amazon packages and whatnot.
I'm stupid.
But that
Okay.
scanner. Oh no! Well, no, you're not. It's not like we've always had scanners. That's just how it is now. But yeah, welcome to the 21st century. But like nowadays, you have a scanner that's on your person at all times, and that you'll use to like scan mail pieces, like certified mail or Amazon packages or whatever, just to make sure that they're being delivered to the correct addresses.
Mm-hmm.
And those
Okay.
scanners have like a built-in GPS, and so they collect.
That's awesome.
Oh, I bet.
They collect analytical data to like let your boss and your boss's boss and everybody else know like how much time you're spending on a route doing certain things. And as long as you can get back to the boss at the end of the day, like if you're out there like an hour and a half later than you're supposed to be, but I can tell my boss like, hey, that piece of crap truck that you have me driving like broke down twice, and then there was this one customer who wanted to stop and talk to me at this address for like 10 minutes and ask me all sorts of goofy nonsensical questions, and then I had like 8 pieces of certified mail, and I got way more packages today than I normally get, yada yada yada. And you're like, okay, you can talk away why it took you an hour and a half longer today than it took you yesterday. Like so in some ways you can BS that, but if you're doing that every single day and someone else can do your job consistently faster than you by like 2 or 3 hours, then they kind of know you're BSing. And what's worse is like you will make the talk of the town in the office. They'll be like, did you hear that it took this guy such such like
There's
2 hours?
Dude.
Well, yeah. Did you hear it took such and such 2 hours just to deliver this one street? And everyone else go, 2 hours? Why, I could deliver that street in 30 minutes.
Oh my God.
During Christmas season, it gets pretty rough, but blah, 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 blah. So.
No, honestly, the same thing with like truck. Would be like, oh, I got like a 400-piece truck today. Like, oh, I could do that in 2 hours. Go fuck
4
yourself.
hours to put the green beans away.
Go fuck yourself. You go fucking do it then.
Oh my, yeah, that was me at my numbers job when I needed to hit
Not
those
the
numbers.
numbers.
I can do that in like 5 minutes. No, I can do that. And I'm like, I don't fucking care. I'm just trying to hit my numbers, okay? I'm not timing myself, but I guess at those jobs you need to make sure. At y'all's jobs you need to make sure.
We used to
you
have a manager who would time how long it took us to do pretty much anything that we had to.
Oh, I would hate
We had to
that.
like sign
Unless
off
they're,
when we started a task and then sign out when we finished the
hell.
task.
I mean, I would see if you're doing bad and then you would have to do that. Like they're trying to help you out and then, they're timing you and then just seeing where you can improve, and then they time you again to see if you got better. But
oh, see, that would have
like,
been nice, but no, that's not how that was at all.
just across the board, some people just don't know how to manage, or they're just like micromanaging, and it's so terrible, like especially when you just like work your best just doing your own thing.
Oh yeah, agreed.
Dang. So
Facts.
do you guys have let's leave that question last. Do you guys have any awesome stories or any crazy things that had happened at any of y'all's jobs that you want to share?
Oh yeah. Do you want to start, Ian?
Let's go back and forth. Like, you do one, I'll do one, and you can just go till we're out.
Okay. Yeah.
Alright, we'll be here for like 5 hours.
No,
No,
we'll
I'm
keep
just
it.
kidding.
Mine aren't that
Oh.
complicated. It's a grocery store.
So Mariah was talking just a second ago about like it would be harder to be caught in Ian's job because, like you're right there in the grocery store and someone could just walk up to your boss or one of the cashiers and tattle on you if you're doing something that you're not supposed to.
Yeah.
There's some truth to that, but there are so many annoying, nosy people who will call the post office and tattle on their mailman for doing literally
Really?
anything.
Oh my
And
god.
like, I get tattled on, and everyone else gets tattled on all the time for the stupidest crap. One funny thing is a lot of people don't understand that like you get a 30-minute lunch break, and so you could go somewhere else to eat, but like it would make sense that if you're wanting to save money and you're wanting to save time, you would just bring your own lunch. But if you're delivering mail in a residential neighborhood, you will finish delivering mail for a street, and then you will just sit down either like on the curb or in your truck and eat your lunch.
Yeah.
And there are so many people that will call the post office going, this guy isn't doing his job. He's been sitting in his truck for the last 30 minutes eating a sandwich.
And now
You're
he's driving
just
away
wrong.
somewhere.
Yeah. Oh, now he's running off. He saw me looking at him. And like some of these people, like they're on their lunch break, so they'll pull their phone out and they'll look at their phone, or like they'll like turn on Netflix or something, YouTube, just something to watch while they eat. And these people will call and tattle and get so mad over like, he's not delivering my packages. He's eating a sandwich.
So is the protocol like the guy who answers the phone? He's just like, "Oh man, we got another one," and just like the protocol is
We
just
got
routing
'em.
it to the supervisor.
Ladies and
then-
gentlemen, we got him.
And then will your supervisor just call you up, and be like, "Hey, what were you doing around this time? Oh, eating lunch? Is that kind of
Yes,
how
like
it goes?"
eating lunch. Yeah. Well, just about any time that these people call, they'll at least call you back to be like, "Hey, this customer caught you doing this," and it goes two ways, because if you talk about it with your boss and you're like, "Yeah, I wasn't doing anything bad. I wasn't doing anything out of the ordinary," okay, I'm not eating my lunch here again because Negative
Yeah.
Nancy at this house is going to call the office and call me out again, so I'll just park on a different street to eat. But then, like, on the other hand, like, yeah, if you're doing something stupid, then they'll call and be like, "Hey, you've got eyes everywhere. Don't do that." But
That's a good way to think about it, though. There really are eyes everywhere for your kind of thing.
That's scary.
yeah, oh my god, all the Ring doorbells and everything,
Yeah.
Oh.
It's
And they know where you work
everywhere.
because you're in the big truck and you got the uniform.
dude. Mhm. That's one thing, is there's a lot of low income neighborhoods over here. And so these people are living off of, welfare or social security or disability or whatever,
Mhm.
And so like you can tell because you will take one step up to their porch, like it'll go creak, and then the door flings open and they're there like every single day, just
Oh my
waiting by the
gosh.
door to get their mail. Every single day,
Wow.
like without fail, they will greet you because they have nothing better to do than to wait by the door for when the mailman's there, or they just happen to hear the porch creak. And so most of them are nice though.
Oh,
They'll strike up a conversation and all that, but because they're lonely. But a lot of these people though that are like waiting by the door and all that, if you so happen to show up like 5 or 10 minutes late, they will call it out like every single
Oh,
time.
man.
Like,
Come
you
on.
were here at 9:40 yesterday, and it's 10 o'clock today. So what's going on? And
Jesus
you're like,
Christ.
I had more packages today, boss. Or like, I had to stop somewhere and take a shit. Like,
That's gonna prompt you
Like,
for your conversation with your boss later when he asks. You're like, okay,
Yeah.
well, no, I'm
hey,
gonna tell this to-
what took you so long to get to Miss
Sorry,
Jenkins'
boss. I was
house?
shitting.
Yeah, I was taking a leak.
My bad. I won't do that next time.
So a lot of nosy customers. There's a lot of stories that come from that, and just like people will call like there's no license plates on the mail trucks, but they all have numbers that essentially function as like a license plate. So people will read the numbers on the truck, and they will call the post office and be like, this guy in this truck at this location was
Jesus.
doing this.
Oh
And
my
like
god.
sometimes it's important though, like, hey, this guy like cut
Yeah.
me off and nearly ran me off the road or something. Like, yeah, sure. But other times a lot of the calls I've gotten have been on my driving, and I'll admit part of it comes from me not being a good driver, but part of it just comes from how crappy
That's what I
those
like to
mail
hear
trucks
from my male
are.
people. I'm not a good
Yeah.
driver.
Yeah, I'm not a good driver at all.
Oh, yeah, brother.
I tend to only hit like half of the mailboxes when I'm driving, but
Hey, those
yeah.
driven. Well, I've driven a smaller U-Haul, like a 17-footer, and I felt like I was better at driving because all the extra like little mirrors on it and shit. I was just felt
There you
like
go.
scared backing up. That's about it.
But so those mail trucks are something else. They're called LLVs, which stands for lifelong vehicle.
Oh,
Because what they'll do is all of those trucks that you see, like the vast majority of them, at least where I live, are like 40 to 50 years old.
Oh my
what?
god.
And what they'll do is anytime that something is wrong with the truck, whether it's something as little as like, oh, one of the windshield wiper blades stopped working, to, oh, the entire engine is dead, they won't get a new truck. They will just keep repairing that same truck forever. But all of the like minute repairs, they where I work at least, like if the truck will start, even if it takes 5 or 6 tries, then you're good to go. They usually
Oh my
don't care.
god.
And so there's so many of these trucks that are in such bad shape. And so I'll get people who will like call me in, and they'll be like, oh, hey, this guy was running late, and they're like, is that true? And I'm like, yeah, but well, like twice today I've gone to start the truck, and I'll put the key in the ignition fob, and the entire ignition fob will fall out of the truck, and I've had to like jam it back into the truck to get it to start so I could
Oh my
turn the key and
God.
turn the truck on. Or it'll be like, this guy's driving 35 miles on the highway, and they'll call me, and it's like, is it true? Were you driving 35 miles an hour on the highway? And I'm like, well, yeah, I was going on the on-ramp. That's as fast as this truck goes. Like, trying to merge onto the on-ramp in some of these trucks is, like, it's terrifying
probably-
because
yeah, terrifying.
you'll be pedal to the metal, and it'll sound like a jet taking off, like... And you're
Wow.
maybe going like 30, 35 as everyone's zooming past you. So sometimes I'll have to hang out on the shoulder of the highway for like 9 to 10 seconds before I can actually
Oh my
merge
Lord.
on before I hit
What
60
the
miles an hour.
fuck?
That's-
Because some of these trucks are just bad.
This is awesome. I did not know. I mean, I didn't ever think about that because, yeah, they don't really ever change. But I see it's called a Grumman LLV, and they were only in production from 1987 to 1994. So the newest one you would have is a 1994, unless you get these new ones I just saw. Where was it? It was like a next generation delivery vehicle. These look fucking
Oh,
weird.
those next generations, we're not going to get those where
He
I
knows
live
all
for
about
probably
it.
like another 10, 20 years.
He's
I
like,
know,
shit.
they're
He's
showing them off.
He's
in-
like, yeah, you wish, dude. You wish.
Yeah, if you see any of like the USPS commercials and crap like this year that they're rolling out for the holidays, they'll show those. Like, we're not probably going to get those for like the next 10 to 20 years. But they're like, oh yeah, these new trucks, they have backup cameras and air conditioning. And I'm like, maybe I'll get to drive one before I
Before I
retire.
retire. Yeah.
Like, maybe.
That's
But yeah,
awesome.
it's ridiculous. The trucks that I drive now were made in like the 70s and 80s.
Oh my
And
God.
you'll drive them, and the odometer that shows like how many miles they've driven, it's like a very regular thing to be like, yo guys, Josh's truck is at 99998 today. Whenever he gets back, it's gonna reset to the zeros.
Yo,
Oh my
that's the
god!
sickest shit I've ever heard.
It's a rite of passage to be driving your truck and to watch the mileage go from 99999 to 00000.
I didn't even think about
That is
that.
the
They have the
sickest shit I've
the
ever heard.
manual little things on there. They're not
Yeah.
fucking lights that indicate the number. They can't. Oh my god! I
No.
didn't even think
Wow.
about that. I feel so just out of touch.
I know. Imagine driving a truck without cruise control. God.
Oh no.
Oh my god.
But
That is insane.
yeah, they're a little silly, these trucks. That's one story. Tyler, you have anything that you want to say? Or so I don't know why I called you Tyler, Ian.
Yeah.
I'm
How
tired.
dare you?
Tyler.
I mean,
I know.
I've got mine are mostly silly stories. Like a lot of mine just kind of deals with the public. I'm trying to think. The store I work at, I got hired to. It was actually built about 4 years ago, so it's a really new store. The entire building was.
That's cool.
The first week, actually, this all happened in the first day. The first day, we just opened the store, brand new grand opening. Dude's pulling down in the back room. There's just like a bunch of metal shelving where we put the pallets and we organize our product.
Mhm.
One of the workers who was kind of training me at the time, since I was brand new, was pulling down a beer pallet
Oh no, I'm
for
so
the
sorry.
beer vendors to work it. And the dude gets the electric lift, pulls it out, jerks it out, and drops the whole pallet 15 feet down and shatters everything on it.
Oh my god!
This is probably 2 hours in the grand opening.
He's like
probably 2 hours, if
incompetent,
that.
or it was just like a mistake.
I mean, he was a lazy worker. Don't get me wrong, as I found out later on. But no, he was just so like nonchalant about using like it's like a forklift basically, even though
Oh
it's
my
not. It
God.
basically is. And the way he jerked it, something wasn't sitting right on the pallet or whatever, and you just saw probably like 40 cases of beer just plummet to the ground and shatter.
Oh my God. Yeah, that would never
that's-
work in my job. That would never happen in
The
my
same-
job.
The same day,
Jesus.
up front, we had a bunch of carts lined up against the wall, and a customer came in, panicked, and grabbed me. I think I was like coming back from break or something up by the registers. She drags me out, and there is a 13-foot alligator just laying
What
down.
are you gonna do
comfy.
about it?
Oh, I don't know. She just is like, I didn't know what to do. I just grabbed the first person I saw, and I was like, all right, well, it's a fucking reptile. Let me call my manager. I don't know.
Fuck.
So I
Florida
call
moment.
no, really though. I call my manager. He just comes out and he looks at it and he just kind of looks at me. He's like, I don't know what to fucking do. And I guess they just called animal control. But by the time animal control had come, the poor thing was terrified because there was like a crowd around it.
What the fuck?
I-
I don't even know.
What?
That's crazy. Oh,
I
wait.
found some
So-
funny things around the store. When I first started, somebody we do this thing called fronting or blocking, where we just pull the product to the shelf to make it look organized. And the guy and I were working with, we were blocking the wine, and he hands me this bottle he found, and somebody had taken a donut out of the self-serve case, took a bite out of it, decided they didn't want it, and just put the skinny part of the wine bottle through the donut hole and just put it down on the bottle as far as he could, and just left it on the shelf.
Dude, that's like Walmart behavior. What are they doing?
Oh my god.
That's what I was gonna ask. I figure you have to have a whole bunch of stories like that. Like I go shopping and like you'll see if like someone put like all Disney Infinity figures in the freezer by the mozzarella.
Oh, I
sticks.
find stuff like that. I find stuff like that all the time. So like I would walk on the beer aisle and like, you're just checking out what's going on over there. And I'll look down and I'll see somebody had left like a pack of lunch meat and something else, and then you just see a pack of 12 pack of beer missing, and you're just like, oh, a decision was made here. Somebody made a decision here. He spent
Those are
their
my
last.
favorite. Someone will be like on like the ship's aisle and be like, "Yeah, I don't want these anymore," and put like a big like Magnum condom box back
Yep.
by the Frito Lays or something.
Oh yeah. You find. And say we've had weird customers. I've had moments with customers. I helped a customer when he was having a seizure once, actually.
Ooh.
Aww. Was this well, oh wait, well I guess this job would have been post you knowing about your
Yeah,
situation.
this is
So,
probably about a few months ago, actually. But
aw. Did you like say, "Hey, I know how to help," or like did you
well,
do
I
got like
was
wheeled away or something and you
well,
didn't
really,
get a
what happened?
chance?
I was standing on the aisle stalking. When I this is before I was in the freezer, though. I had you get assigned to aisles in most of your stores. I
Mhm.
was working the one that had canned. I think it was canned veggies.
Mhm.
And one of the customer service people came up and was like, because pretty much, everyone I work with knows I'm epileptic for, just so if
Mhm.
something happens, they know. One of them came running up to me and was like, hey, come with me. Like, Kevin, who was my team leader at the time, he needs you. And I was like, all right, hold on, let me just finish what I'm doing. And he's like, no, it's an emergency. Come right now. And like grabbed me by the collar. And I'm like, what the fuck? Why are you touching me? And then I come over and I see this, like, this older man he wasn't having a full seizure, a grand mal. He was just having a petite mal seizure.
Mhm.
But he was seizing, gripped onto the side of his cart, standing up.
Oh my god, I didn't even know you.
And
I always imagine people like dramatically falling to the floor and then like something else also
no,
like they hit their head. But I didn't know you could. That sounds kind of dumb. But I
there's all
didn't know
kind there's
you.
all kind of epilepsy.
Damn.
Not every seizure has
I
been like
don't know.
calling Dr. House.
I'm
Yeah,
sorry. That's all I've
no, you're
seen.
good.
And the one girl I know that had like seizures that I worked with, she had a service dog with her and like
Yeah.
I mean it sounds gross, but I mean it makes sense just like she could tell when it was coming up, so she went to the
Hmm.
bathroom and
Yeah.
she no matter which way she'd laid, it would be fine because the dog would basically lick the spit out of her mouth or whatever so she wouldn't choke on it.
So yeah, stuff like that. My There's different types. There are seizures that are partial, where you kind of just you go unconscious but you're awake, and then there are full ones, which is like what you would see. But everyone who's epileptic gets what's called an aura, which is basically like a premonition feeling. So if you've had enough seizures, you know when it's going to happen.
Oh, that's
So
that's kind of
there's a
scary.
certain way that I feel, like my body feels, that I know that I probably am about to have one when I feel that way.
Oh,
But the
dang.
dogs can do that for people too, especially for people who don't have that feeling.
Yeah. Damn, that's crazy. Yeah, she
Yep.
she luckily had the feeling, but of course, I guess if it was so severe where she couldn't even control like if her head was up or down or wherever
Yeah.
to make sure she wouldn't basically drown, then I guess that's why she had her dog. But that's awesome. You were able to help him out. What did you I mean, what could you do? I mean,
I
everyone
didn't really.
there
I
was
mean, when I say
nothing
help
you
them
could do,
out,
I
I was
guess.
like, I mean, they needed someone who knew epilepsy, just because, like, I try to educate like the managers who I work with so they know what to do in case I have one. I
Uh-huh.
have it in my phone where if you activate the medical ID thing on my iPhone, it gives you directions on how to handle me.
Oh wow. I didn't know that they
But
did that. I thought it was just your
I
like
did that. I
name and
I
date
did
of
it
birth.
myself.
That's awesome.
I had well I typed it out on that thing just so people would know, just in case. But
Oh.
they needed someone there who kind of knew what to look for and
Mhm.
stuff like that. Because there's some things like, he luckily didn't collapse or anything like that, so he didn't have to deal with, putting him on his side and making sure he doesn't choke on his vomit, like normal things that can happen during these events. But they needed someone who like knew when, what to look for and kind of like what to do afterwards, like how he's feeling, someone who could talk to the EMTs and know a little more what they're saying, kind
Mhm.
of.
Oh yeah. Yeah, instead of like, he's just having a seizure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it turns out that he had a spinal surgery not too long ago and this was like happening to him.
Oh, like
But it's still like,
oh.
it's comforting, at least someone who has the same experience, to know you're surrounded with someone but that knows what to do or has some sort of experience with it.
Mm-hmm.
That's the hardest part. Is like my girlfriend hasn't seen me have one or doesn't know anything about epilepsy, so she's always so like just almost scared. Not that I blame her, but it, you know, it's more comforting myself, you know, to the people around you and the people that love you when you're surrounded by people who kind of understand it better.
Oh yeah. No, I understand. Like on about being scared. Like my family doesn't. We kind of, as far as I know, it's really just when we're old is usually when we start having our things going on. For the general, like in general, we're fairly just a healthy family. Even if we are a little overweight, we don't really have any crazy side effects or anything like that. But it's like we don't have any like cancer or anything running in our family or any reoccurring health issues. So when I've, you know, had more friends over the years and figured out, oh, this can happen, I'm like, oh my gosh, or I'm on this, and this because this, and this has happened to me, or it runs in my family. I'm like, I can't even like imagine, and it's scary. Yeah, especially if you haven't like experienced it before, you don't know what to do. You know, or you feel like you don't know what to do because you can't just like do it on command. You can practice all day long, like doing CPR or something. Like I took like 2 or 3 CPR classes over the year to get like my little certification thing, but I almost had to use it once. I didn't have to, but I was like freaked out. I'm like, oh my god, I have to do this.
Yeah.
Like it's time.
It's like it's literally almost like a stage fright.
Yeah.
And I like how we were feeling before this. Like you got that.
Yeah, the
like,
podcast
yeah, you can
is
practice
the same
as much
exact
as
thing.
you want. Man, the pressure's on. I'm gonna die if you don't get this right, Mariah. Just so you know.
Is Blaze still here, or is he just being?
Yeah, no, I'm still here. I was just trying to be
I was just
respectful.
making sure. I was just making sure.
Yeah, no. So you were talking about you've got like that. Do you have an iPhone with the medical ID thing? Yeah. So there's so much stuff on like modern versions of iOS and like the new iPhones and stuff. You're really paying for like a quantity of crap that most people will never experience or even know is in the phone. One of those things I actually learned about from my job. I was training a guy on something that we eventually stopped doing, which it makes sense. I don't know why we were doing it in the first place, but we used to have a collections route where you would have like one guy after 3 o'clock who would go out and drive around town to all of those blue boxes that you can put mail in.
Yeah.
And they would drive around to every single one and just take the mail out of there and then bring it back to the post office all at once. Now we have it to where just if there's a blue box on your route, like on your normal mail route, you'll just hit it while you're there and take it back with you, which makes more sense. I don't know why we were ever doing it the other way. But we used to do it where we would have one guy driving around, but there's so many locations like scattered all over town. So we would have, like, whenever you were starting collections, we would have a guy train you for at least 1 or 2 days to help guide you around to make sure that you knew where you were going and all that. And so I was training this one new guy that we had who was a little slow. I still work with that guy. I don't like him. But,
is it because he's slow, Blaze?
Oh,
no,
damn.
hey, I don't have.
I'm kidding.
Yeah, no.
For legal reasons, that's a joke.
Okay, there's a difference between like being slow. Like you could be slow, but you can be like a friendly giant, like Lenny from Mice and Men. This guy is not slow and nice. He is slow and mean. Like you are both like dumb in the head and an asshole.
Oh, no. I know so, one person like that. I should name them, but
they drive me crazy. It's like whenever you meet someone who's like no one wants to date them because they're super duper ugly, but they're even uglier on the inside. And it's like, how can you like stand to be like so butt ugly, but an even bigger asshole? Like
Yeah,
that.
where do you get off
Like,
being such an asshole
exactly,
and this
like,
disgusting?
I thought the ugly people were nice, but no. So like, yeah, like this guy, like he's slow on the head, but he's also just a jackass. Um, and I was driving around and I was teaching him this collections route, and we were going from place to place to place. And these trucks are crappy, and so we have one truck that has two seats in it, but the second seat is like in the trunk where they keep like all of the packages and stuff, like in the back, like not like the trunk like a typical car, but whatever you want to call it, like the back end of the car where
Where
you
the
keep
mail's
all your
at?
packages and
The
stuff.
ass of the car.
Yeah,
It's still
the
the
butt of the
trunk.
car.
It's
Yeah.
still the trunk.
Well, I call it that. You're sitting in the trunk, but so I was sitting back there in another seat, and the seatbelt on it is kind of wonky, but I'm like, nothing to worry about. And there was plenty to worry about. This guy
Oh, no.
was driving, and on one
no.
route he's making, driving to the Air Force Base, he runs a red light, and I yell at him like, dude, pay attention. And he looks up and he sees the red light, and he hits the brake as hard as he can, and he stops in the middle of the fucking road after he
No.
already
Oh my
ran the red
God.
light.
Oh my
And
god.
I was holding my phone, my iPhone, and when he did that, when he hit the brake, my phone went flying out of my hand from the back of the truck, and it hit the windshield. And when it did, I didn't know that your iPhone would do this. It automatically called 911 like I had been in a wreck.
Yeah, that's
I
crash
was like,
detection. Yeah.
and they're like, 911, what's your emergency? And I'm like, it's all right, boss. Just I'm driving with a stupid jackass. Everything's all good.
God.
But we're fine.
What the
It's
fuck
so
is wrong
stupid.
with people?
Wow.
Yeah, but so yeah, there's a bunch of stuff that's like in these iPhones that like I didn't even know they had.
Yeah.
But another goofy thing that happens to me a lot is working with a lot of these businesses and stuff. There's a lot of businesses that you'll deliver to, just like residential addresses whenever you're on your route, but all of them do very, very different things. They have their mail delivered like a particular way, and it can be really annoying if you've never done a route before and like you go in and you're just like I'll go to some grocery stores, like I'll go to like a Walmart or a Target or a United or whatever and be like, hey, I've got mail and I have no idea where it goes, so I'll just like go bother one of the people at like customer service or like a cashier or something, and they're like, don't talk to me, like I fucking know. And I'm like, you don't have to get so hostile with me, I don't know what I'm doing either, I've never been there. But most of them are pretty nice and upfront. Like they'll be like, oh yeah, I don't recognize you. Yeah, usually if you come here we do yada yada yada, it's fine, it's whatever. But we had one business here in town that was running a drop shipping scam, and
Oh.
it was like in this really rinky dinky rundown part of town where these people had like a giant warehouse, a giant garage, and every single day, even on Sundays, if they weren't there, you would go there and they gave you like the PIN code to get into the garage. And they had like at least 20 or 30 enormous packages from Amazon every single day. So many
Oh my
times
God.
there were a lot of times they got so many packages. Because keep in mind, I tell you, like my mail truck was made in like the 70s and the 80s. Amazon didn't exist yet.
Yeah, naturally.
So these trucks weren't built for the number of Amazon packages that we get sometimes. So there are so many days that we will get so many packages or so many big packages that we can't fit all of our packages in the truck and have to make multiple rounds back to the post office. And this guy's route, that Yeah, this guy's route that had the drop shipper on it had so many packages from this place every single day. But what they would do is they would buy these packages from Amazon whenever they had big sales like Prime Day or Cyber Mondays or whatever sales they had going on. They would buy them directly from Amazon sellers whenever they were on like a big 40 or 50% off sale. They'd buy them and they'd hoard them, and then they registered as an official seller with Amazon,
Yeah.
and they would sell their stuff directly back to Amazon for a higher price than they bought it.
That's awesome.
And they would just do that over and over and over and over and over again until they
Sounds
eventually
legal.
got
That
caught.
sounds
They
legal
couldn't
to
do it
me. I don't know
anymore.
what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
well,
mean, they just
they
bought it.
eventually got in a little trouble. But so yeah, that was a fun thing that we dealt with for like a really, really long time, because it was weird, because other than that Sunday route, whenever we did Amazon, that route in particular had a bunch of businesses on it, and they wouldn't get a lot of packages on Sundays because all the businesses were closed. So it would be like, do I want to take this route because it's really, really easy and I know it'll have no other packages, but I'm going to have to drive back to the post office like 3 times just because of those assholes that got like 30 enormous packages and they're not even there. I'm just going to drive up and put them in their garage.
That sounds like the ideal transaction.
Yeah. Oh, I did that route all the time.
Like personally, I would want the one that talked to the least people, but that's just me.
Yeah. There was another thing about these Amazon packages is, I don't know if y'all deal with this or not, just being like customers, but being a mailman, it's especially annoying. There are so many of these Amazon packages that they put in just the typical cardboard brown box that have no right to be in those boxes because they do not package them right at all. And they are so annoying. People will buy like a 50-pound bag of dog food.
Oh, okay.
And Amazon will just put it in these boxes and just tape it up and like, all right, it's good, just like that.
Oh
And
my
so
God.
you'll be like running up to these people's houses with like a 50-pound bag of dog food, and it's like spilling out of the box,
Oh
and they'll
my
tattle on
God.
you like, the mailman broke my box, and it's like, that box didn't stand a chance for one. But Amazon will package dog food like that. They'll package weights like that. Like if you're a weightlifter and you buy weights, they'll just put a big old weight just in a box with some tape on it. Like, yeah, it's good, boss.
Oh my God.
So stupid.
Are there
So
like
Amazon packaging can be horrible.
So I assume there's like heavy duty cardboard boxes. I don't know anything about cardboard boxes, but
Yeah, there is.
oh wait, no, yeah, the ones that like Hello Fresh I think come in are kind of thick. But I've had a problem with HelloFresh at my when I lived in an when I lived in an apartment. It never came like fresh. It was always melted.
Oh
yeah,
it's like, damn, we don't do it anymore. But we wanted to try it out for a week or two, and we did it once, and then it was all melted, and then we're like, okay, maybe it was just this one time. We ordered it again, and I guess it's I don't know why, but yeah. Anyway, sorry, but yeah, they have some thick boxes. Like some good boxes.
Yeah, you can get heavy duty boxes, and you can also just like package the boxes in a certain way where, I mean, if you use more like filling in the box to more evenly space, like distribute the weight out and whatnot, it's less likely to break, versus having like that entire 50-pound bag of dog food like try to seep to the bottom, and all that weight coming to the bottom and trying to fall out at once. But
oh.
Physics is hard.
Yeah, so there's annoying stuff like that. Yeah, me neither. I'm a mailman. But there's stuff like that. But at least if you buy something directly through Amazon, the packaging is more discreet. There's some things just on like both sides. If you buy packages that can be really annoying depending on who you buy from. One thing that we run into this time of year is people will buy something for their kids, and when they get something for their kids, like for Christmas, it doesn't come in discreet packaging at all.
Oh.
Like I got like someone bought like a frozen bicycle for their kid or whatever, and it just came in the normal fucking box, and it's like, and they were like pulling up from home for school, and it's like, Merry Christmas. You know what to look forward to in a month. Sorry, but
I'm sorry, Mom.
So stuff like that's annoying, but it's also annoying. This one route I used to deliver to a lot was a plastic surgery office.
Ugh.
And they would get so many penis pumps, and they all came in like the least discreet boxes ever. It would have a picture of the pump on the side of the box.
That is the sickest shit I've ever heard.
It was a big penile extender 3000 whatever, and so I'd walk in with a box of 5 boxes and be like, "Here you go, Dr. Smith.
Where do you want these?
Doctor, your penis pumps are here."
Your penis pumps, madam. But yeah.
Has there been any clearly marked dildo or sex doll or blow up?
Oh yes, I've delivered a few dildos where whoever sell those are just assholes, because they will put them in clear packaging, so you can just see them clear as day. Like it looks like they send them in a Ziploc bag with just postage on them. And but some of these people do it to themselves too, where when they buy
have to,
a
it's
package,
like a humiliation fetish.
yeah, they'll buy a package, and instead of putting their real legal name on the package, they try to put something funny. But then I get the package and I'm like, yeah, I've got a package that needs a signature for Miss Sexy Bitch. If you'll get her out here, I need her to sign. And then there's people who put the lamest names ever that you can tell are not their real names, some anime sounding crap.
No.
Yes, if you can get Mr. Skykarius Shadow Walker the Third out here.
I hate that. Oh Lord.
People are lame.
We've sent our friends some dildos, so I don't know if they are in discreet packaging or not, but I assume it's all the Chinese companies.
You hope not.
I assume it's the Chinese companies. I'm pretty sure if you didn't go through Amazon and went through a known solely sex shop toy place, they would probably send it in discreet packaging, but I assume a lot of these people are just doing Amazon.
It's a drop shipping dildo scam. That's what it is.
Temu. This new Temu business.
Oh.
Speaking of drop shipping dildo scam.
They have the worst packages in the world.
In those big
I'm talking
bags.
Yes. Okay, so
I've ordered from there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so yeah,
you're part of the problem.
It looks like what they send their crap in, it's not even a bag, it's not even a box. It looks like just heavy-duty gift wrap that they tape the crap out of and just yep, there you go. So I'll get so many packages from Temu that are already half torn open, and they come in the goofiest, stupidest shapes and sizes ever. So someone will order okay, I'm gonna get a Nintendo Switch and a poodle skirt and 3 phone cases off of Temu, and instead of putting them in a box or something, they just put all of those things and they just wrap them all up in one, and they come in the dumbest, weirdest amalgamation sized package ever. You know how annoying it is when I have 150 packages in a day, and I have to find somewhere to put those stupid abominations because they don't discreetly fit in with any of the rest of the packages.
Oh, it's
those
fine.
Temu packages drive me nuts.
Just shove those anywhere. It doesn't matter. Honestly, if you fuck something up in there, people are gonna just they're probably just gonna think Temu sent them a shitty little thing. So if you fuck it up, honestly, just shove it in the corners and then.
Yeah, she makes a good point.
Yeah, I'll pull the package out of my truck and I'll pick it up on the porch as they want. I'd be like, sorry, Timu broke it. Just give them a call.
Yeah, it came in like this.
Yeah, that's just how I got it. Sorry. Oh, that's one thing people will tattle on all the time. I get it with some people. There are some people, like, you'll get a mailman and you'll have just like a regular Amazon box and you don't know what's in it, and they'll just like heat it on the porch and they're like, hey, can you not like just throw my property? But then you'll get some of those like teeny tiny like bubble wrap bags and you can feel it and you're like, okay, this is very clearly like clothes. Like I can feel this. I can feel the weight of it in my hand. Like this is fabric. It's flimsy. It's not like a fragile thing at all. And I'm not even going to throw it. I'm just going to go up to the porch and I'm going to set it down. But rather than like doing a full body squat and like bending it over and like gently laying it down across the porch, I'll just kind of like bend over and just drop it down. And people are like, oh my God, what if you broke it? And I'm like, I'm gonna break your t-shirt. Like, Jesus Christ.
Shirt!
Yeah.
Oh, you
People-
shattered it.
Yeah, it's broken. I'm calling. You're in trouble. People will get so mad about crap like that. Or it's really, really funny. You see one advent that like sucks is I tend not to do this, and I get why people get upset. But whenever you get like an indiscreet package and like you don't know what's in there, and you're like, oh, I can fit this into the mailbox. I've just kind of gotta like fold the box of it maybe to fit it in there, but it should go in there just fine. And then people will open it up like, this was my super duper special edition collector's amiibo box set.
Oh,
And then
yeah.
the mailman bent the box to fit it into the mailbox. $1,200 ruined.
Rip.
But like, damn. Or that's the other thing. People will buy stuff through the mail, through Amazon or something, and like it'll come in like that big brown box, and you would think most people don't want you to know what you are and aren't buying online. Like there's a level of secrecy there. You can buy whatever you want. I'm not going to make fun of you because I don't know what's in there. But people, like, you'll buy something online and I'll go to deliver it and be like, all right, here's your package. And they'll be like, what's in this? I'm like, I don't fucking know. People ask me that, and then they'll get defensive. Like, what do you mean you don't know? I'm like, well, we can open it up and find out together. I don't know. You don't tell me.
I don't know. Some people are weird, and I think it's just crazy. Like people actually buy. Like I buy stuff on. I've been buying a little more than normal this year, but some people are actually like obsessed with Amazon and like buying shit from there, and they literally order so much shit they don't even know like which package is coming in. Like I know I have one package coming in, or maybe another one, but it's gonna be delivered to someone else for a present. But like that's it. People are like, oh, is this package or this one or this one? I'm like what? Why do you order so much?
Yeah, why do you not know?
Yeah.
We have houses where people will buy like special boxes to put on their porch with either a physical or digital lock, so you can throw all of their packages in the box and then lock it so that no one can get into their Amazon boxes until they get home, because they will order like 8 or 9 packages a day. So they'll have like just a massive box, and they'll be like, all mail carriers throw packages in here and then like lock the box when you're done with it.
Oh, Jesus.
Jeez.
Yeah, some people get a bunch, or they have like digital lock boxes, and they'll give the mailman the code. Like, you can type in this code to get into the box, drop all my stuff in it, and then close it when you leave.
Oh, like in the delivery instructions when they write it?
Yeah.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
code is 6969.
No.
Hey,
How'd you know?
yeah, I get robbed all the time.
Well, I guess I have one more question. I guess the last
go.
thing is, do you guys have any life lessons you want to tell our audience, or any words of wisdom from your jobs.
Don't put all your eggs in one basket. Seriously, if
True
you're
dat.
thinking of doing something, have a backup plan.
True that.
If you're, in terms of your career, I guess in general, but especially in your career, if working blue collar is something you want to do, then by all means. But, someone in my particular scenario, I learned pretty hard that I probably should have done that. Looking back, I obviously would now. I feel like a lot of people. I feel like if you're not unsure about what you should do, and you're one of those people who are really, really insistent and know what they want to do since they were little, make sure you have a backup plan, because that Sublime song, you might get run over or you might get shot.
Never heard of
Shit
it.
happens, and you never know what's going to happen. You can't prepare for it as much as you might want to. So make sure you have something up in the background set up for yourself and for your family in case some shit goes down. And, I feel like at least that way, if what you want to happen does happen, you can be happy. And if not, you can have that relief at the end of the day, knowing that there's still something there for you.
I like those words. I think I'm gonna follow that because I don't think I have all my eggs in one basket. At least there are a couple different things I can get into, like there are different pathways I could go into, but again, yeah, if something crazy happens where I can't get up and move around, and I needed to specialize in one specific thing that would have me tied to the desk all day, I would probably have to learn more or be prepared to learn more for that. So I get that.
Or at least kind of cultivating like another interest or hobby or something that could help you in that way, whether it's financially or whatever it is. Starting that in small steps is always better to have something to fall back on, I'd say.
Yeah, even I guess at that point you could also, it takes a lot of money, which you need to get money in the first place, but create your own business for what you want to do, and you can kind of do whatever you want.
Always the goal. You want to do what you want, right?
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Very, very sweet.
What about you?
My lesson is you can refuse your mail, guys. If you don't want something, you can tell the mailman you don't want it.
Wait, what?
It doesn't matter what it is. Stop lying to me. There are people who will get mail and they don't want the mail. That they'll get something like a bill or like a certified letter or something from somebody, or like an IRS letter or a child support letter or something will come in, and sometimes I'll need a signature for it, and I'll be like, hey, does this person live here? I need it. Like some nice old lady will come answer the door when I knock, and they'll be like, yes, and I'm like, hey, does John Smith live here? I've got a letter here that I need him to sign for. And she'll go, oh, let me go check. And she'll go inside and she'll go to the other room for about 2 minutes. And then she'll come back out and be like, no, John doesn't live here. And I'm like, I'm like, you can just say, like, I don't want that, send it back. But it's so people do shit like this all the time, and it's like you can refuse your mail. Now, whether I sent it back and say, oh, John doesn't live here, or you tell me just like, yeah, John lives here, but he doesn't want it, the outcome doesn't change. Like, there is no difference in if I send it back, because I'm sending it back either way. There's no difference whatsoever if you refuse it. Don't waste my time and lie to my face. But what other people will do is they'll do the most annoying thing. There are a lot of people who will work with like a business and they'll have a P.O. box, right?
Yeah.
So let's say that Ian's grocery store is like big grocery, like big green bean. And so they get a lot of mail every day. Yeah, big green bean gets a lot of mail every day, but it doesn't get delivered directly to the grocery store. They've got a P.O. box.
Yeah.
And so Ian is the manager at Big Green Bean, and at the end of his shift, he goes home and or on his way home, he'll go to the post office, he'll check the P.O. box, and he picks up all the letters for Big Green Bean. And for some reason, there's a letter in there that he doesn't want for any reason. Maybe someone used to have his P.O. box number, and now it's a different P.O. box, so it's just straight up not his mail. Or he sees something that he doesn't want.
Okay.
Ian will take his mail home to his residential address and put the mail in his mailbox at his house with a P.O. box number on it, and write on the mail, "Take this back. This is the wrong address." And I'm like,
Wait,
well,
don't
no
do that
shit.
or do
It's a
that?
P.O. box number, so you know what I'm gonna
Oh.
do, Ian. I'm gonna put that mail back in your P.O. box, fucktard. Like, yeah, it doesn't belong there. And this cycle will continue like 3 or 4 fucking times before these people get it through their fucking heads. Like,
Oh my
no
God.
shit. Like, whatever reason you don't want the mail, you can just tell me. I'm not gonna tattle on Ian or Big Green Bean or anyone else because you don't want your mail. You can just tell me, hey, I don't want this for XYZ. You don't even have to say why. You can just say, I refuse this. I don't want it.
So I
Other
don't have
people
to tell you on
don't-
money laundering?
Yeah, you don't have to tell me. Just when the IRS letter comes in, just say, yeah, I don't want that. And I'll take it. It's fine. But yeah, there's stuff like that all the time. Or we'll get ads that people like mass send out any business, and so it will get delivered to just any address. It'll say just current residents or current occupants
Oh, yeah.
on the mail. And I'll have people come to me with a handful of letters that say current resident on them, and they'll be like, yeah, this person doesn't live here.
This person.
And I'm like, do you live here? Yes.
That's you,
I'm
brother.
like, well,
What,
this is yours then.
what if they don't catch you while you drop off the mail, though? That's what I'm wondering.
They will stick the letters outside of the mailbox with like a chip clip or something,
Oh,
or they'll just
God.
like fold them over where
So
they're
is that the
sticking
right
out, and they
thing?
will.
Or the wrong
Yeah,
thing?
and they'll write something like, this person doesn't live here, and I'll look at it and it'll say current resident in it, so I'll just circle where it says current resident and I'll put it back in the mailbox. And the next day, if I'm working the same route, then they'll catch me and they'll chase me out in the street like, hey, like, you didn't take this yesterday.
Oh
You
my
just circled the part where it says
Oh my
current
God.
resident on it. And I'm like, yeah, that's you, Bob. And he's like, I don't want it. And I'm like, you can just
could've just
throw it
said
in the
that.
trash. You just throw it in the garbage. It's not that hard. I'm like, I can take it back with me. Sure, I don't mind. But like, you don't have to be like a jackwad about it. Maybe you really, really wanted those HelloFresh coupons, man.
Yeah, dude.
I'm just doing my job.
Hello,
But,
Fresh,
I
don't
there it
know.
is again. Hello,
I'm telling you, man, you can pile up all of that current resident mail, and by the time, winter's coming around, it's 10, 20 degrees outside, you can burn them to stay warm. Like,
Oh,
they,
yeah.
they,
Check
some,
out that
they serve
cold
some
here.
purpose.
I'm gonna start
Yeah,
wrapping
reduce,
my
reuse,
mail in
recycle.
them.
There you go.
That's a
But
good
yeah,
one.
you can refuse your mail. Leave me alone.
Awesome. Well,
I'll remember that.
That's about all I have. You guys have any ending statements? Anything else you need to say about your jobs or anything? Ever?
Anything I said that may incriminate me was a joke. Just kidding.
Yes.
Yeah, same here.
All right.
And being a
well,
mailman's great.
In Minecraft. I love my job and I love my managers and my company is amazing.
me too. Even though I don't think I said anything bad about them, but I mean, I still say.
Even if I didn't, I still want, in case for some reason someone hears that.
Exactly.
I am not a representative for the United States Postal Service.
Oh,
Anything that I
that's-
say is
Yeah.
not representative
That's
of the
That's a good thing to say
of
for you.
our core
I would-
mission statement and core values. This whole thing was a prank. I actually work for FedEx. Haha.
This,
Uh,
I played a character during this. I actually
I'm a
I'm
method
playing. I'm playing a grocery store employee. This is just me practicing my
For
you know,
your
my
next
method
big
acting.
role, yeah.
Mhm.
I just bought a uniform online for $300. I don't even work here.
In case anyone wants to make I don't know, is there a famous grocery store worker? I fucking don't know. If anyone needs that, let me know.
Do you guys have any? I don't know if you guys do or not, but if you have any social media, I guess I haven't really. I haven't had normal people on this show before, so
I don't even
know.
really have social media.
Yeah, I mean, I usually ask that question for people who usually have like the
If you
YouTube
wanna-
channels and other podcasts, so you don't have to answer unless you want followers, I guess.
I was gonna say, if you want
You
to,
can support me at Super Dank Awesome Unicorn Guy. Once again, that is Super Dank Awesome Unicorn Guy. Unicorn spelt with a K. And if you'd really like to support the show, go to your local post office and buy a stamp book for the holidays, please.
Yeah, because that's supporting the Mariety show.
oh yeah,
Yeah, it is.
subscribe to the Mariety show. Be nice. Don't be mean to your local stock clerks, and spend all the money that you physically can at grocery stores. That's all I'm going to say.
Wait, spend? I
Yeah,
use
spend your money there.
self-checkout.
So
I don't spend anything there. I'm just kidding.
spend the 5-finger discount. Huh?
Put Ian out of business. I'm taking the self checkout.
All right.
Just walk out.
Oh, sorry. Sorry.
No, you're good.
All right. Well, thanks, guys, for coming on. Everyone listening, thanks for listening. And I'll see you on the next episode. Goodbye.
We
Bye,
work.
guys.
Bye.
This is how